On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back at my new shop, and today, one of the biggest changes there is starts to take shape. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo, and today we are painting the new shop, the inside of the new shop at least. So come on inside with me. I did a couple passes, Eric's doing a couple passes. We're just kind of trading back and forth here. But we are fogging the white over the yellow here. So there's the spray foam yellow. Here is the new bright white. Here's the airless. Let's make some magic happen. All right, that thing's pretty loud in there, but I made it over to Weston's this morning and I got my scissor lift. So now we can do the ceiling. Obviously we needed that over here because it's way too tall to do on a ladder and it would take a long time. So welcome back home, scissor lift. Now we've pretty much all used it to build our buildings. If any other local YouTubers end up needing a scissor lift, but I need it for quite a while now because we have a ton to do. So last night I went to Menards and bought the paint the spray foam guys said we need to use. And that paint is Conco Pro 7000 semi-gloss bright white. The spray foam guy said this stuff works amazing, sticks right to the spray foam, no prep needed. So we have 15 gallons of it and we're gonna see just how far we get. He said we need 40 gallons to paint the shop, but that seems insane, right?
How much is that bucket?
Let's see, we did a whole panel and it's right at the top. It makes more sense to me that he said 8 to 10 gallons, but when we talked, he said 8 to 10 buckets, like 5-gallon buckets of the paint. So I bought all the stock they had at the store, which was 3. There's another Menards here in town, obviously, and they have 4 more. So if we run out of that, we'll go over there and get those. But for now, we're gonna see how far we get with the first 15 gallons of bright white. I think that's gonna be a game changer. We're also running around buying out all the Lowe's stock of the lights we need. Unfortunately, they don't stock enough of those. I bought 4 and I already installed them in that garage. And then I went back and they only had 5 left and I need 20 of the lights. So I bought all the stock they have. Now I gotta go to all the other Lowe's, pick up the lights. We did call some commercial supply houses that we work with and none of them have more than 6 in the country. So we're trying as fast and as hard as we can to get all the material here and get a bunch of work done really quickly. I think Eric's just having fun at this point. But that's gonna be so bright inside with the entire ceiling and all of the walls being that white, super white. I'm not sure what you need to do to prep the outside metal, but we got to figure out what exactly you need to do. Hopefully it's just some kind of like an acid wash with a pressure washer. Not really sure. Maybe I just paint right over the chalky metal, but I need to get that done, whatever it is, and then go back, buy a bunch more material, and keep right on painting this thing. If there's one thing I can promise you guys, there were 1,000 comments asking it to be red. This is not a barn, it's in the city. It will not be red. I'll consider any other option, but red and white would look insane with everything else around here being, you know, whites, grays, browns. I can't be the guy with a red barn in his backyard. That would be crazy. Also, we got another new toy today. Check this out. Eric picked this up for me earlier. He called and was like, look what the pawn shop has. This is the Milwaukee Super Hog. There's the whole hog and then there's the Super Hog. This is the biggest one. How insane is this? Look at that bit quick lock there. So this is made for when you're sitting there punching like 4-inch hole saws through studs and you know, headers, whatever you need. This is designed simply to do that. Eric picked this up for $100 at the pawn shop earlier. I was like, dude, buy it. I will give you money when you get here. So I hope it works. Let's go, let's stick a battery in it real quick. Find out. Did they test this for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it does run?
It works.
All right, well, Eric verified. It's got a high and low gearbox. It has insane torque. It has this massive long handle for you to hang on to, so when the bits are getting like caught or if they're not perfectly centered while you're drilling a giant hole, it should just rip through it, which is amazing. I thought I had an M18 battery in the back of the truck. It turns out I don't for some reason. They must all be on the charger. All right, let's do some painting. I assume my face is already covered in paint because everything else in here is already covered in white paint. And we're almost through There's not much left in that first 5-gallon bucket. And the first bucket, I gotta say, went from there over to there, most of that, and I decided to do a quick test spray on the ceiling, and we've already got all of that. Now, it's probably gonna need 2 coats up in the ceiling. It looks like the ceiling is really soaking it up. We're going through it real quick up there. But I'm gonna finish up this wall panel, and I feel like that's probably the stopping point for tonight. And I will come back in the morning when there's more light coming in and just do all of this. The other issue is I need to mask off all the windows, and I don't have any masking material, and it's pretty late at night, so everyone's probably closed. So we'll get some masking stuff, tape all the brand new windows up because I don't want to be scraping paint off them, and really get to spraying in the morning. All right, guys, it's the next morning. We're back. This time I wore a shirt that I want to destroy instead of one that I love a ton. So hopefully today's painting goes a little bit better. Now, I got a lot done last night, but right now we're gonna see if I actually like what we did. So the spray foam guys told me that we needed to use the semi-gloss in here. Okay. For what we did paint, I think the semi-gloss does look okay. I was a little worried that it was gonna be too shiny, too bright. And see, we've got all this done. I think all we need to do is get back to work. It does actually dry down to what would look like a flat on anything else. It's pretty dry. How is it on the metal? Not bad, not bad. Well, time to get to painting again. Hopefully I shut this down correctly. We borrowed this sprayer from a friend, and he said all you need to do to shut it down is put the gun in a can of water, which I did, and close off the bucket with a rag. So I did those 2 things, and hopefully it starts right back up and is ready to start spraying. I'm gonna move all this junk so I don't have to keep working around it. Well, I also needed to clean up Zach's brush piles from that tree that we took out. So luckily it's 2 small piles. I went and got a burn permit, built myself a little fire break here, burned off all the grass, and hopefully here in just a few minutes, this will all be gone. All right, guys, here's the update. I finally have most of the paint off of my face. That ended up taking quite a while. Ran into town, came back with 10 more gallons of paint. Hopefully that's enough. We don't really know yet. We've gone through, what, 13 so far, and I'd say we're at least halfway done. So I'm hoping 10 finishes it up. The fire, I just finished pulling it all back together. It's gonna keep burning for a bit longer. Hopefully that stump burns. I don't know if it will. I'm out of hose. I can't actually reach that fire, but if I go get some hose, we might light the other one up. The other one is going to be a bigger fire. That's the only way to say it's twice as big. Anyway, it should take off very quickly, but in here, let's take a look around. Oh, it smells like you're walking into a bucket of paint. Anyway, 2 sections basically finished. All of that wall finished. Most of this wall finished. And then I need to move everything so I can get back to the back wall. And then unfortunately, I don't know what caused this, but during the day, there's these big bangs. And that's the expansion and the contraction of the building. But when the building moves, the spray foam pulls back. So if you look up there, there's a big void. Now, it's not like it unsealed anything, right? It just came off the 2x4s. You'd think, honestly, you just shouldn't have any 2x4s. The wood buildings shouldn't exist. I'm gonna make a statement. I hate wood buildings with a passion, and I didn't realize that this was going to happen. If it was all metal and it would have been screwed, you know, very, very well together, and the expansion and contraction was at the same rate, maybe this wouldn't have happened. But what happened is the spray foam like pops and it pulls back, and it's only sticking up to the tin. It's coming off the 2x4s. And then this one is egregious, which is why I have stopped painting. This one actually uncovered the tin and pulled back so much. I think this 2x4 moved. So I have some great stuff, and I'm gonna try to fill this giant gap. I didn't want the paint going in there first and causing adhesion issues. All of this pulled back today, look at that. All through there. A whole bunch of it. Like that can actually go behind the insulation. So I have to fill all of that Here's some little ones, and they sound like gunshots going off during the day when these pop. Here's one I already filled earlier today, and apparently I didn't fill it enough. I'll have to add more and then paint it again, obviously, but I hope all of this happens today so that I can get it all painted while it's still in painting mode. But anyway, a ton of work done. I can't wait to be done with this so I can stop blowing white paint out of my nose and having nonstop allergy attacks, but we're getting there. I mean, all there is to do is fill those gaps and get back to work. I also bought masking paper. That's the exact width of these windows, so I am gonna tape them up real quick so I can really shoot the frames and everything like that. I'll probably paint the frames inside black too, and I also need to cover this breaker panel. Obviously, I want all of that to look like stock breaker panel metal there. And other than that, it's just time to get back to painting. Paint this whole side. Got some more water hose, so now we've got a fire break, and fire number 2 is rocking and rolling. There's what you guys wanted. There were a lot of comments about the piano playing at the end of that one video. You guys know how you see everybody painting on the internet and you're like, oh, if you just spray that, it'll be so easy. You don't have to do any work at all. Spraying is the worst. I gotta say, outside, this is probably amazing, but inside, what a pain. It's just, well, the ceiling mostly. The paint's raining down on you. You can see my arms are covered, my shirt's covered. Luckily, I found these in the garage. There was a box of them. So there's a painter's sock ready to go. I grabbed that. Now I put my safety glasses on and this, and other than my nose being full of white paint still, we're getting through this real quick. But here's where we're at. I need to get the scissor lift over there, finish up this, make this ceiling pass, make that ceiling pass. But 2 of them are 100% done. So we got some good progress there. This wall, 100% done. And this wall is done, except for that very last corner there, because I still haven't moved everything out. So it looks like, to finish this up, I need to get all this stuff out of here that honestly, now that it's all covered in paint, should probably just go in the trash. There's not a lot of saving it at this point. But we're getting it done. I love the white beams. They look really cool. A little bit more time, and hopefully we have enough paint. There's 7.25 gallons left. I think that's what I have in total. So we're gonna be cutting it close. I'll be making another hour-long trip across town to the other Menards that has this Conco paint to buy out the rest of their stock. I should have bought it all and just returned it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I only bought 2. I was like, you know what, 2's gonna get it. We've done so well with 3, why wouldn't 2 get it? Well, it turns out 8 gallons was probably about right. The guy that did the spray foam just looked at it and was like, 8 to 10 gallons. How was he right on the money? How was he right on the money? Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. After I shower and get depainted, I really want to finish this all tonight so I don't have to go through this again and spend another day getting all the white paint back out of my body. You breathe so much of it. I know people are gonna whine about not having a respirator, but if you have a respirator, you can't breathe at all because it's so hot. So I'd rather just deal with the consequences 100% of the time. The fire is getting bigger and bigger. The other fire's out now, but this fire, well, I stoked it a little bit here a minute ago and it's hanging on. It's been hours. Final update. I almost got it all done, but I have about this much paint left in that bucket right there, and I have 2 roof sections left to go. So everything else is nice and bright white. When the lights go in, this should be blindingly bright, but I need to do that section, and that little bit of that wall right there, and I am very worried if I go any farther, the pump will starve for paint, and I will be in trouble because I don't want to have to do a complete wash down and then load that thing back up. So it creates a lot of waste too. So if you can keep the gun in the water and keep the paint in the pump, everything works out really well. You just pull it out and stick a new bucket in and keep pumping the paint on the wall. So that's all that's left. I thought we were gonna make it, but we're probably not. which means tomorrow I'm off to buy the last bucket of that in the city, make a complete tour of all the Lowe's while I'm at it to try to buy all the lights, and after that, we just need Unistrut, and we'll have lights, the walls painted, and the floors, they start on that Monday, Friday, something like that. They're starting on that as soon as possible, so I'm super excited to have these floors. It's gonna look sweet.